We're officially in the final 5 days of the transfer window and expect this window to go out with a bang. You're seeing the updates on screen, tons to discuss, tons to talk about today, my friends. I hope you guys enjoy. Very quickly though, yet again, the club have released another merchandise collection. This time, this is more of like everyday type of wear. I'm not going to lie, this bomber jacket's looking kind of cold. And I do know that a lot of football clubs in particular are working with designers to create these kind of bespoke pieces to kind of like just boost the quality now for these merchandise ranges. So if you like the look of this, as we're getting ready for autumn, if you're liking the look of some of these fits and these tees, you guys know what to do, man. Use my affiliate links in the card above or description below and use Nini10 at checkout to get a full 10% off your final order. And now, my friends, we discuss one of the big stories this morning. Christopher Nkunku has finally left Chelsea Football Club as today he has agreed a deal to sign for AC Milan. Now, I want to give you guys a bit of, some context behind why I'm sounding so funny. I'm feeling kind of ill. That's why I didn't upload yesterday. Not been feeling too great. I'm hoping I didn't pick up something from the airports, but you know what airports are like these days, man. People coughing left, right, and center. No one cares. But anyway, Ornstein dropped the story this morning. He reveals Milan agree a 42 million deal for Christo Nkunku. Now, this is essentially broken up into this. It's a fixed fee at 37 million, an additional 5 million in add-ons, and the sell-on clause attached is between 10 to 20%. But with the sell-on clause, it's most likely a clause on top of any potential profit that Milan could make if they one day sell the player. So don't expect for anything crazy like us to earn an additional 10, 20 mil in the future. It's not going to work like that. And Nkunku seems to be very happy to sign for AC Milan, agreeing terms very quickly. And Milan, of course, surprised all of us by actually fronting the money, cash money up front, to go for a permanent move instead of trying a cheeky loan deal. They've kind of been quite desperate to sign attacking reinforcement. Their move for Boniface fell through due to his medical. A move for Conrad Harner from Sporting Lisbon, that isn't going to materialize, and I don't know why they're going to go for another youth. So I think Christopher Nkunku is probably the best signing by a distance Milan have made this window. He's the type of guy that will link their midfield and attack even more. And if Nkunku is a success there, he could really turn the fortunes around at Milan. So you can imagine that Allegri is going to be very happy to have him there. And Nkunku alongside Leao's and other players like this, I mean, maybe Milan might be dark horses this season. Who knows? Anyway, Nkunku leaves us after 62 appearances, 5 assists, and 18 goals. And I'm not going to lie, I was once a massive fan of Nkunku. And it is a bit of a shame that these guys don't really blossom how you predict they might. Now, no one can see the future. Who would have guessed that injuries at the worst possible time would have slowed down all the momentum? But at the same time, if that wasn't the case, maybe we're not signing Cole Palmer. And you feel like maybe at the moment, Palmer has a better chance for us to have more success compared to Nkunku, because I think Palmer's a better player. I don't think there's nothing wrong with saying that. But at the same time, it doesn't take away from the fact that when he did get back last season, he didn't really have a position to play in. He was shoehorned to play up front way too often. And the role that Maresca wants from his strikers is just something Nkunku can't do. Nkunku's pass and go, Nkunku's final ball actions, Nkunku's about his finishing, his late arrivals. And it's a shame that we didn't really utilize any of his skill set or his traits. And the ironic thing is that I think this season, now that we've signed Pedro and Delap, he most likely would have had those conditions here for him. But it does seem like this is a combination of Nkunku wanting to leave, and maybe Maresca being okay with him going as well too. But once upon a time, I remember like 2 years back, man, this was the big marquee Clear Lake buy that surprised all of us. Everyone said Nkunku is like 3 times your Mounts, your Havertz's, your Ziyech's, etc., etc. So it's kind of just mad to see how reality unfolded for the guy and how he didn't have much of an impact. All the skills, all the finishing, all the free kicks. I mean, I think it's safe to say this guy is still a world-class player, but he's just kind of lurking in the shadows right now. He's waiting to emerge in the light. Sorry, I watched Dark Knight yesterday. So, yeah, all I can say to Nkunku is good luck to him. Now that he's been sold, of course, this means we have money that we can now use to reinvest back into the team, hopefully secure some long-term deals we're hoping to get down. And of course, his sell was key because we have to sell guys from the category A list, our squad list in last season's Conference League to abide by the FFP rules for squad registration in Europe. So good luck to Nkunku. I'm not going to lie, the money's a bit of a bargain. I think the guy is like maybe like 45, 50 million, to be honest with you. I'm talking about pounds, not even euros. So listen, I think Milan have snagged a bit of a deal on their hands. So you guys share your thoughts and opinions on how you're feeling about Nkunku going. Let us know. And right now, let's discuss the latest reports surrounding Nicolas Jackson. And at the moment, we are learning from the club that they prefer to kind of bide their time before accepting anything from Bayern Munich. Now, Bayern's strategy is to go and kind of aggressive, force things to happen. We've agreed terms now with Nico. Nico wants to go there, but there is still a bit of an issue in terms of the value of this deal. Now, the thing that's been agreed upon is a loan with, loan fee and option to buy, obligation to buy to secure this deal. Now, this loan fee, fixed fee is around 10 million euros, which is not too bad. We prefer an obligation. It seems that Bayern are also open to that, but also maybe open to an option to buy deal as well too. At the moment, we want around 60 mil euros in total for a sale. So we want at least 50 million euros guaranteed from the obligation plus loan fee deal that would allow Nico to go to Bayern Munich. So now we wait. And we wait, in fact, for Isak. Because as reported by Matt Law, Isak could hold the keys to Nicolas Jackson's future. The club are going to wait to see whether Liverpool come in big again to sign him, because that could kick off a bit of a merry-go-round in the striker market. Because even though Bayern really want Nicolas Jackson, they don't have many great options that could actually improve their team and add to the level outside of Jackson on the market right now. The club also understand that there are many other interested parties. Let's not forget the details. His agent said that there are clubs in Italy, there are clubs in England, and there are clubs in Germany and across Europe who want Nicolas Jackson. So ultimately, Bayern isn't set in stone, even though I think for Nico, this would be an incredible career move. But at the moment, we're learning of other interested clubs. Liverpool, there's no belief yet maybe Liverpool may, go back in the market to sign another striker if they're unable to sign Isak. That's one to watch out for. Aston Villa, Brentford, Newcastle, could they maybe turn towards Nicolas Jackson if their efforts for Strand Larsen don't materialise? Now, they had their second bid turned down for around 55 million. Strand Larsen today has informed Wolves that he wants to leave, he wants to go, and he could be potentially the guy to kick off this transfer merry-go-round, which would allow Newcastle to have their replacement for Isak and then cash in on Isak for big money, as they rejected a 110 mil bid from Liverpool. And when Newcastle have this type of access to funds in the final few days, they may be forced to overpay for targets. So let's watch the space. Let's see what happens. Let's see how things go down. Not going to lie, it feels a little bit surreal as well too, that after just seeing Nicolas Jackson kind of be like a part of the club, like a part of the embodiment of the club, he's already out the door straight away. And I know to some people, it feels a bit ruthless. It feels a bit, unemotional in the sense that you're just treating these guys like assets. You're cashing on them. You're not giving them any time or patience to grow. Fair enough. But on the other hand as well, too, football is not the longest career. And sometimes you have to act decisively. And there's probably been a lot more examples of clubs who have paid the price for being indecisive compared to clubs who act with decision in their minds. And at the moment, you could argue that Liam Delap and Joao Pedro put us in a pretty safe space. And maybe this is why you can now cash in on Nicolas Jackson. But after this window, I'm sure we'll have even more conversations around the transfer strategy. Because I just think to myself, now that we're kind of getting rid of maybe some of the players Maresca doesn't want now, what is the future going to say afterwards now? Could this be like a future in the next 2, 3, 4 windows where maybe, we could actually invest in signing a top player if that player emerged in the market, or is it going to continue this trend of just, okay, you're assessed for like 6 to 18 months, and if there's a better market opportunity, you're out the door, and you're kind of like, I guess, I don't know, are you incrementally improving? I'm not too sure. I look at like Gittins and Madueke. I think Gittins has a lot of potential, a lot of talent, but is he necessarily better than, let's say, Madueke? I'm going to be surprised. If he can get more goals than Madueke this season and more assists, then of course the proof would be in the pudding. And that will be like some of the, little like questions I still have hovering in the back of my mind getting answered. I can't predict the future. I don't want to predict the future. I go into the future with a very, very open mind, right? So yeah, I just like to kind of like share some of my thoughts with you guys. I like to like ponder and think about a lot of things. So that's how I'm feeling currently at the moment. But let's see how the season unfolds. So right now, my friends, let's talk about one of the other big stories materializing right now, involving our long-term target now in Javi Simmons. And at the moment, my friends, we're learning that Tottenham Hotspur are in fact making late efforts to try and sign our target away from us. Now, this has been the big story over the last 24 hours. We've done a lot of work to try and ensure that Javi Simmons is going to become our player this season. But it's not the first time that we've lost out on a long-term target to Tottenham, who have acted on our indecision because they just have the money to burn right now. And after missing out on deals for like Paz from Como, after missing out on deals like Eze in a very, very funny fashion, at the moment, they're presenting an offer to RB Leipzig to ensure that they can actually fund this type of move. A lot of developments happening at this point in time. Florian Plettenberg says, Spurs have informed Leipzig they're pushing for Simmons. Leipzig, of course, are still demanding 70 million euros, around 60 million pounds for this move. We still are in the race. We have reached agreements already. We know how the story goes, my friends. That's how it is. We're learning of like maybe other interesting updates to the story. This journalist here reveals that Chelsea have initiated talks now with Leipzig with active negotiations for the potential transfer of even Tyreek George going to Leipzig. Now, with Tyreek, we know that AS Roma are doing a lot now to try and sign him, but we prefer around 30 mil euros to let this deal get over the line. Let's see what happens there. At the moment, there's an offer of around 22 million euros plus add-ons that have been presented by AS Roma. But at the same time, could we be maybe, creating a bit of like a bidding war for Tyreek George, with RB Leipzig expressing a lot of interest for our young talent? Now, you think to yourself, when you combine Nkunku fees and Tyreek George fees, that, of course, creates the possibility to just cash in and sign Javi Simmons. Could this be the ultimate key to unlocking our ability to get this deal over the line? I'll be honest with you, Tyreek George is a talented guy. I didn't even know that he could be someone worth around like 30 to 25 mil euros. But again, the academy shouldn't be surprising us because it's been a consistent thing now for like nearly a decade. So it's crazy. Sorry, you guys, just feeling a bit mad, But anyway, let's get back to these reports right now. And let's look at Spurs' position. Now, we did get something from Matt Law as well. And at the moment, Spurs are waiting for the okay. As he says here, there is some nervousness within Tottenham about formally bidding for Simmons, which essentially means that they haven't presented an official offer. They won't do that until they get a definitive 110% okay. And of course, after being burnt out on Gibbs White and Eze, they don't want it to be a third time in a row because it looks a bit weak in the market. It makes the position not look too good. We have learned, though, that at the moment, Javi Simmons is currently in London negotiating with a London club. We don't know who that is right now. Hopefully that's going to be us, but naturally, he's going to have to think about his future and his career as well. And he'll probably listen to what Spurs may present. Now, I'm curious to know what his team may feel after recent reports surrounding our interest in Fermin Lopez. Could that maybe make him think a bit differently? Could he maybe soften his stance on Tottenham then? Tottenham can seal this deal straight away. once they get the okay, because all that money they've been waiting to splash on a big boy this entire summer is readily available. And that could maybe force RB Leipzig to accept, you know what, Simmons? You're going to go to Spurs right now. This is money that we need. You know, we've waited so long. It's going nowhere. It is what it is right now. So let's continue to watch this space. I still feel a bit optimistic that we have an opportunity here to make something happen, especially now that Nkunku has been sold. And the reason why this is a bit different to when Kudus went to Spurs over us is because Kudus, we had to sell before we could buy. We couldn't get it over the line in time. Kudus has a new agency as well too, and Spurs were very willing, of course, to present a strong offer. Now, West Ham were waiting for us to get involved, to get a bit of a bidding war going on, but the thing that ultimately ruined that was that left wing back they signed that we saw in that 5-1 thrashing of them recently, he could have gone to another club, and they couldn't afford to allow him to go. So, yeah, they accepted a bit of a smaller bid for Kudus to ensure that they could sign their left wing back, and that's why we missed out on him. So, there's some similarities between us and Spurs right now for Simmons, but it's not too similar. So I'm still feeling a little bit optimistic. And I think for me, we don't make a move for him happen if we decide, oh, the money isn't great, and maybe someone else is available for less that we prefer maybe a little bit more. So I think that's probably the perfect time to discuss the final story today. And let's talk Fermin Lopez. Because Spanish reports are saying quite a lot right now. And there's a belief that Chelsea are also waiting for a bit of an okay now from Fermin before presenting anything more official for the player. So let's watch that space, I guess. Of course, it's been like a pretty interesting story that came out from nowhere. I have released a player analysis video to give you guys a bit of a, inside scoop behind who he is, what he's about, and what to expect from him. So that is out right now. Watch it after my news video. But in terms of Fermin Lopez, Sport in Spain are kind of saying a bit of a madness right now, as they're trying to say that we've had a first bid rejected already for Fermin. And that bid was around 58 mil euros. Now, Barcelona, ideally, they are holding out for around 70 mil euros. That's what they want. That's around 60 million pounds. But then Sport also revealed that we could be open, of course, to increasing our offer to around 65 million euros. Now, if I had to make a prediction, if I had to guess, I'd imagine that would be something that would be, a package that's in total worth 65 million. You have your fixed fees, you have your add-ons, and maybe, as it's been pretty popular this window, there are some selling clauses or other type of clauses attached to a deal like this. I guess with Barca, we have more power to maybe get them to drop their asking price because they have players covered there right now. They need to register, and making big pure profit of Fermin's sale could actually do quite a lot for their chances this season. So let's watch this space. Other articles reveal that we're also open to increasing his salary, which is around 6 mil euros a year. And a lot are saying that the player is getting tempted because he knows that maybe game time's a bit harder. Already this season, we've seen Rafinha has been used as an attacking mid over Fermin. Now that Rashford's in the team as well. So it looks like his priority in the first team isn't as big as it would have been last season. With the World Cup coming up very soon, Fermin has to think long and hard about his career, and signing for the world champions could be a big deal for him. Reports also reveal that Maresca has given the okay. He likes him. He's spoken to the player to kind of reassure him even further. And I guess once we get maybe an official yes and okay, something can happen here. But in my opinion, I'd rather it be Simmons for the carrying threat. I don't think we need like another Mount-style midfield player anymore who attacks the spaces. I think we have enough of that, and I don't see how that helps us unlock low block teams. But if you want to hear who this guy is, I suggest you guys watch my analysis video. And there you guys have it, man. That's the latest stories at the moment this afternoon. If anything else drops today, stay locked in on Blue Lines TV, and I'll see you all soon.